Hello, everyone. How are you today? Today, we're going to talk about Are you listening when Spirit speaks? I'm Kelly Lee Sappenfield, fifth generation metaphysician, spiritual teacher, mentor, coach, speaker, and author. And today, I want to talk to you about Are we listening when Spirit speaks? But first, don't forget on my announcements that I have events coming up via Zoom. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can join us. If you go to eastwestbooks.org and go to their events page, scroll down and find my events on June 28th and 29th. You can sign up, and you can sign up for a special spiritual power hour with me at a very special East West bookstore price. And I will put their website in the comments so that you can easily access them. And those are on June 28th and 29th. So let's talk about, do we listen when Spirit speaks? And there's a memory I had about this after our Facebook Live yesterday. And that's why I wanted to talk to you about it today. And that is, Spirit speaks in a lot of different ways, shows us signs in a lot of different ways. And sometimes they literally speak. Hi, TC. Halim, is that how you pronounce it? Hi, I hope I didn't butcher your name. Anyway, this is Gypsy, by the way. There's Gypsy and Zoe, the two beagles that you'll see running around. Anyway, and Gypsy is an energy junkie, let me tell you. But when Spirit speaks, sometimes they literally speak through you. You will hear something, you saying something, and you know that that is Spirit speaking. And let me give you this example. In 2016, I knew my thyroid was wonky. And I got a recommendation for a thyroid specialist in San Antonio, Texas. And I'd gone to regular doctors about it, and we could not get it regulated. And so I thought, you know what, it's time for me to go to the specialist. So I called up the doctor's office in San Antonio, and her and I start chit-chatting about other stuff. And anyway, we get through 20, 30 minutes of just conversation, right, that we ended up having. And she was like, I am so sorry. I forgot your first name. I know you told me to make this appointment for you. What is your first name? Out of my mouth did not come Kelly Lee. Out of my mouth came Donald, which is my husband's first name. He doesn't go by Donald, but Donald is his first name. And she was like, your name's not Donald. And she starts giggling. I said, no, but clearly Donald is the one that's supposed to have the appointment. And she goes, what do you mean? I said, Spirit spoke through me to tell you that Donald is the one that needed the appointment. I said, yes, I need an appointment and everything. And no offense to you, I've seen a lot of good doctors and a lot of bad doctors, and we'll come for Donald. And if we resonate with each other, I'll make an appointment for myself when I'm there. I said, but clearly this appointment needs to be for my husband. And she was like, well, this is really weird. You know, are you sure you don't want an appointment and all this other stuff? And not really understanding, right? I said, no. You said, I'm sorry, I forgot your first name. Can you give it to me again so I can make the appointment in my computer? And out of my mouth for my name came Donald. So clearly Donald is the one that needs this appointment. And she's like, okay, I'll make an appointment for Donald. And we went through all the same insurance company and all that stuff, right? And everything. And I said, well, you know, we'll see you on that date and everything. She goes, okay, I can't wait to meet you, because the fact that you called for yourself and then you ended up making the appointment for your husband, this is really weird. And I was like, okay, we'll see you then. So a couple of weeks pass, and it's the day for the appointment. And my husband wakes up that morning and he's like, "Do you smell that?" I'm like, "Honey, I don't smell anything. It smells like something's burning. I don't smell anything. I'm getting in the shower." Okay. I'm not in the shower 2 minutes and the smoke alarms start going off. And I'm like, "Oh crap, something was burning," right? So rinse my hair as quickly as I can. I'm like, "Is everything okay? Is everything okay?" Right? And everything. And he was like, "Yeah, I don't see anything anymore." I said, "Well, what's burning? You were smelling it earlier." He goes, "I don't smell it now and I can't find anything." He goes, "I'm getting the ladder. I'm going to go. It's just one alarm, fire alarm on the ceiling going off. I'm going to go and see if it's weird." I'm like, "Okay." He goes, "Go ahead and finish your shower. Everything's okay." So I go on with my shower. All of a sudden, he's up on the ladder because I can hear him in there. And the smoke alarm goes off. I thought, okay, he fixed it, whatever it was. The next thing I know, I hear another smoke alarm go off. And he starts cursing from the top of the ladder because it's not that smoke alarm going off, it's another one in the house. So he goes over to that one. That one stops, and the one he was just at starts again. That's clearly spirit. Spirit was saying, "Pay attention." They were screaming at us through the smoke alarms and playing with all the smoke alarms in our house. Pay attention. And DJ's like, "There's something about today. There's something about today." I said, "Yes, clearly there is." And so we finished getting ready. We get in the car to drive. At that point, we lived about 2.5 hours away from San Antonio. Driving to San Antonio for his doctor's appointment. We get in the car, turn on the car. Neither my husband or I have ever listened to Christian radio stations. And all of a sudden, this Christian radio station comes on the radio. And there's this song about major transformation coming up. That's a sign. It's not that we have anything for or against Christian radio. It's just not our music, okay? And so, but the song was specifically about upcoming major transformation. That is a sign. We didn't go searching out that song because we love that song. We didn't even go searching out that radio station because we didn't even know the radio station existed. That's a sign. We're driving off to San Antonio. Guess what? We start seeing boars on the side of the road. Hi, Jonathan. And as we're seeing boars on the side of the road, after we see the fourth one, I always carry Stephen Farmer's, that he has a little pocket-sized animal totem book, and I always carry it in the center console in the car, right? I whip that baby out. What does boars mean? Because we've seen 4 and we've never seen a wild boar in our life, right? So it's all about healing and transformation and all this other stuff and everything. So we're like, okay, what's going on? Something major is going on. In that 2.5 hour drive, at least every 30 minutes, there was some sign, whether it was a billboard, something on the radio, an animal, it didn't matter what it was, there was some sign about healing and transformation. And then right before we get to the doctor's office, all of a sudden, there's sirens going off everywhere again. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, right? You hear sirens, and luckily they're not for you. It's a sign to pay attention. So we get to the doctor's office, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, you're the one that called to make the appointment for you, but you made it for your husband. We've all been talking about this. This is the weirdest thing. We never know anything like this to happen. That you would call, and all of a sudden, because you said your husband's name instead of yours by accident, that you would make the appointment for your husband." I said, "That's the key. I did not say my husband's name by accident. You have to listen when spirit speaks. So we get into filling out the forms for the doctor's office. And my husband had been fighting illnesses for years, and we had been to so many specialists, I can't count them all. And we had been given funky diagnoses and, oh, here, take this antidepressant. I'm not depressed. I don't care. It'll just help for general purposes. And we were like, yeah, no, thank you. Anyway, we had been fighting this for years, actually over a decade. And we're filling out forms, and on the symptoms list, he starts checking, and he pretty much checks every single thing this endocrinologist asked for, except for female issues. They call us back. The doctor knocks on the door, and he goes, I think you filled out this paperwork wrong. You checked everything. Because you're supposed to check the things you have, not the things you don't have. And we're like, oh, no, those are the things he has. So the doctor talked to us for a little bit, and he looked at my husband and he said, okay, tell me your top 3 out of this immense list of symptoms. What are your top 3? And he said, okay, to my husband, he said, okay, I need you to shut up right now. I want to talk to your wife. And don't interrupt her. What are your top 3? Well, they were different on 2 of them. And he is like, well, okay. He goes, boy, my hands kind of got cold. So he starts rubbing his hands. Well, all of us in the spiritual will know this is bringing up the energy, right? We're working the energy. We're bringing up the energy. And he literally took his hands. He placed them on the top of my husband's head. He went immediately to his throat, and he looked at my husband dead in the eye. He turned around and looked at me, and he said, how long have you had this massive tumor? Exact words. My husband and I were like, what the hell are you talking about? What massive tumor? Excuse me? He stops right there and he goes, this has got to be the weirdest appointment I've ever had, but I'm getting you in to have a needle biopsy now. And, you know, we're thinking typical doctors, right? Okay, we'll get the needle biopsy in a week or 2 and we'll get the results and yada, yada. No, within 30 minutes, he had drawn 12 vials of blood, done an ultrasound, and a needle biopsy. He said, I'll get you your results as soon as I can. And as we're checking out, everyone in the doctor's office was like, oh my God, he has a massive tumor. And out of her mouth came to set the appointment for her husband, not for her. And they're like, how did you know? How did you know? How did you know? Because you have to listen. Listen, not only with your ears, but with your intuition and with your soul and all of your energy. You have to listen when spirit speaks. Because when spirit speaks, it's not speaking for shits and giggles, excuse my French, but it's not. It's speaking for a specific purpose. We had spent literally almost 15 years trying to figure out what was going on with my husband. And this doctor, in under 5 minutes, says, how long have you had this massive tumor in his neck that we could not see? So with it, by the end of the day, he has a massive tumor. It's at least the size of a boiled egg in his neck. And they did a needle biopsy to see what it is. Massive transportation and healing, and pay attention. Signs all day long. Within 24 hours, the results came back. Thyroid carcinoma. He had thyroid cancer. Within 2 weeks, he was in surgery. He had the tumor and the thyroid removed. 6 weeks after that, he had radiation. 2 weeks after that, he moved to Abu Dhabi. Because you know what? We discovered what was going on with his health We got it taken care of. And then we were able to have a fantastic, wonderful opportunity and experiences and get to see immense parts of the world that we normally would not have seen. Abu Dhabi wasn't even on my radar of places to visit. And I absolutely loved living there for 3 years. Going to the pyramids in Cairo while I was there because it was a 2-hour flight. All the things that we were given as a gift we were able to get that gift because when we first got the cancer diagnosis, we had that oh holy shit moment. Are you serious? It's freaking cancer. But then we knew anytime spirits speak so loudly and they give us a dark night, there is an amazing light at the end of the tunnel. But it doesn't have to be this major for you to listen when spirit speaks. Spirit speaking to us all the time. Spirit speaking to us in little silent ways with that's just I just I don't think I want to do that. Because your gut just tells you no, right? Spirit speaks to us because we've been asking for an answer and we're driving down the road and literally on a billboard, maybe for an advertisement for a plumber, is your answer that has absolutely nothing to do with plumbing. It doesn't have to be as loud as it was in the journey of us discovering my husband's cancer. But we knew with every fiber, not only in our human being, but in our soul, that spirit was screaming at us. Donald's to have the appointment, and it's healing and transformation. And it was. Spirit doesn't speak and tell you to do something negative. Spirit doesn't speak and to give you fear. Spirit doesn't speak in any negative connotation whatsoever. If Spirit's speaking because they've got great plans for you. They've got a great path for you. They're telling you, you go this way and this will open doors for you that you didn't even know were possible. When the biopsy came back on my husband's tumor, with the cell great growth and all that medical stuff, right, with cancer, the doctor looked at us and said, how long ago did your symptoms start? We did the math and everything. My husband was like, oh, about 18 years ago. Isn't that interesting? Because according to the size of the tumor and the cell growth rate, I was going to tell you, you've had cancer for about 18 years. And all the specialists, and I'm talking dozens of them, all the doctors had missed it. And when the time was right, Spirit said, here's your healing, here's your transformation. Go for it. Listen, pay attention, follow the signs, and you have an awesome opportunity ahead of you. Now, my husband complains and everything about having to take his thyroid medicine every day now because he doesn't have a thyroid, and your body has to have thyroid hormone to function. But he doesn't have cancer either. And yes, he just still has some lingering side effects from having it for so long. His hair is one of them. He lost most of it. And so the top of his head's shiny now, as opposed to having hair on it. But you know what? I guarantee you, if he walked up behind me, he would say he'd trade his shiny head for all the other stuff that he used to deal with, right? So where in life has Spirit been speaking to you and you're not listening? Because when we stop listening is when we actually start having issues. Stuff just seems like it goes awry. We get overwhelmed. We just don't know what to do. Things aren't going right. Every time you do try to do something, something happens. Does it sound familiar, right? And most of the time it's because Spirit's speaking, but we turned the volume to mute and we're not listening. How loud does Spirit need to speak? How loud do you need those fire alarms to go off for you to pay attention? How loud do you need it to be? Because the more you hit mute, the more Spirit's going to be knocking on your door saying, excuse me, I said, pay attention. We weren't looking for a puppy, and we found Gypsy, the one you've seen walking around here 10 years ago. She was a product of a puppy mill, and it took me 24/7 for 6 months to bring her back, to keep her alive, to heal her. And we used a lot of Reiki. We used a lot of energy healing. I would meditate with her on my chest, partly why she's such an energy junkie now. But all of a sudden, one day, I knew there was a beagle baby out there calling me. I hadn't looked in the local paper for puppies in over a decade. I opened up the paper, beagle puppies for sale, da 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 da. I called the number, they're not answering. I'm like, this is weird. The vet I had with my previous beagle calls me and says, are you looking for another beagle puppy? Call this number. You might want to check it out. There's an opportunity here. Any way Spirit speaks, whatever it brings you, whether it's Gypsy, whether it's finding out your husband has cancer, whether it's what is the next right step for me to take in my business, in my career, in my health, in my relationships, in my finances, in recreation and joy, whatever it is, Spirit speaking, Spirit showing you the answer. Spirit's showing you the path. Spirit's giving you those hits of inspiration, those ideas like, oh man, wouldn't that be cool if I created that? And that spark of creativity. Spirit doesn't give you that where you just sit on your laurels and do nothing about it. Spirit gives you that so that you will do it. Because they know you would be perfect to do it, even if you have no freaking clue how to do it. Just like when Spirit told me to write a book, I'm like, what are you talking about? I have no desire to write a book. I have never been a person that just writes for fun or enjoyment or anything like that. No, you're going to write. So what did I have to do? Not only did I have to purge a lot of stuff on my keyboard, typing it out, right? But I also had to learn and study and grow and evolve to become the person that could write the book. So don't ever, ever, ever discount what Spirit's showing you, what Spirit's giving you. Listen, take it to heart. Pay attention. Take this as a sign to pay attention and do what Spirit's asking, begging you to do in any area of your life. And trust me, I hope to God it is not that you find out someone has cancer. But I wanted you to hear my journey with my husband through that so you can understand. Sometimes Spirit talks really softly just by having me say my husband's name out of my mouth. And sometimes literally it is the fire alarms playing with each other in your house. Whatever it is, make sure you're listening because that is so key. to being spiritually connected, to manifesting the life you want, to being the person that you're put on this planet to be. You're not put on this planet to sit on your laurels and ignore what you're supposed to be doing. You're put on this planet because you're uniquely you. And spirit's guiding you to be the best uniquely you person that you can be. I hope this helped. And I hope you really start paying attention to the signs spirit gives you. And I'd love to know if this helped. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments. And I'd love for you to join me on Zoom in June for the 28th is You Don't Have to Die to Transform, which is a talk about my first near-death experience and how I had to go through that to become the person I am today and what I learned on the other side. And on the 29th is about soul evolution and soul vibration and how we raise our soul vibration and how our soul vibration dictates how we communicate to one another and to the degree of which we can love one another. And plus, just through eastwestbooks.org, which I put it in the comments, I'm offering special 1 hour spiritual power hours. So go grab yours on that. Like I said, if you have any questions about this, put it in the comments, private message me, whatever it is. If you don't want to be public about it, that's fine. But I really, really, really want you to live your life to not only to its utmost ability, but to live it in its easiest pathway. Now, sometimes our pathways are curvy, left turns, right turns, loop-de-loops, and everything else, right? Ups and downs. But when we listen to spirit, it makes it a heck of a lot smoother ride. It's like the difference between being on a road that's as rough as a corn cob or being on a freshly paved superhighway. So please listen to spirit, take care of yourselves, send love out into this world right now because it needs it. A lot of ugliness is being shown, and we really, really, really need to send love to everybody because we're all in this human experience together. I don't care who you are, where you're from in this world, what religion, if any religion at all you are, what color your skin is, what sex you are, what sexual orientation you are. We are all divine energy in human form. And remember that and go forth and make this world a better place. Shine your light, listen to the signs, and every day expect miracles. Take care. Bye bye.